So I'm trying to approach this from the most rational, most nuanced perspective as possible. And it should be said that multiple things can be true. So while in this game, I would agree with a lot of people where the Warriors got to make shots, right? Buddy Hield, Pods, Draymond, all these guys, Quentin Post, they got to make shots for sure. And in the case of Quentin Post, you can't turn down shots, which he did a lot in this game. I also understand you got to box out, you got to get boards, which the Warriors did not do well in this game. I get all of that. But with that being said, can I for a second talk about Steph Curry? Now, I'm trying to do this as calm as possible. I don't want people to take me the wrong way. I know some people will disagree with what I'm saying, but hopefully you see the logic in what I'm saying. We can disagree on the solution and that's fine, but I hope you guys understand the logic of what I'm saying. That's all I ask, right? But in the case of Steph Curry, he took, 22 shots in this game, yet in my opinion, he was not aggressive in this game. And I need everybody that points out the defense and look at how they're guarding him and all that to understand you're making Steph Curry look weaker. We're talking about one of the greatest players of all time. You don't get to say it's because of the defense he's not performing well. That just doesn't work. But to me, there is a difference in actually creating an advantage and conceding, right? Steph Curry gets doubled all the time because Steph Curry invites that. Because Steph Curry and Steve Kerr invite that. They want to get doubled at half court, and all of a sudden it's 4-on-3. But are you really creating an advantage, or are you just playing into exactly what Houston wants? Draymond Green streaking to the rim to go against Steven Adams is not a win for the Warriors. Every time Steph Curry concedes the ball and just hangs out off ball is a win for the Rockets. And not only is he doing that, he's not really fighting that much off the ball. He's not, compared to what we've seen in the past for Steph Curry. And you know what? That is one part where I will accept the thumb as an excuse there. I don't really buy it with the handle and him turning it over. Steph Curry always does that, right? He always throws careless passes, right? But as far as him, hand fighting off ball, maybe the thumb is really bothering him in that capacity. But point still stands. Steph Curry gives up the ball and now is floating near half court. That's a win for the Rockets. The Warriors' offense is set up for everybody but the point guard to be making the actual decision, right? Steph is making the initial decision to get two on the ball, but now it's Draymond Green make a play in space. Now it's Moses Moody make a play in space. Now it's Pods finish at the rim. Now it's Jimmy get blocked at the rim by Steven Adams again. A lot of that could be alleviated if Steph Curry said, you know what? I don't need to screen this play. You know what? I'm going to try to take my man and then see what the help does. Not concede from the jump. And I've been using the term self-fulfilling prophecy with the Warriors lately in regards to Kuminga a lot. But it really is when you think about it, because the way they're playing Steph, right, and the way they're choosing to attack it, what do you need on the other side of that? You need a player that can go get their own bucket. You need a player that can go get to the rim. But the Warriors shun any type of player that is not going to just wait for Steph, right? Jordan Poole in this situation is going to go get his own bucket. Kuminga is going to go get his own bucket. You know who else would just go get their own bucket? Not in the same way, but Klay. Even Klay Thompson, Warrior legend, they were upset with Klay and his shot selection. But you know what happens in this Warriors offense so much? They can't score because Steph Curry's off ball, and all of a sudden Moses Moody has a one-on-one against Tari Eason, and the Warriors act like they created some advantage. If you go back and watch their last title run in 2022, Jordan Poole and Klay Thompson were huge in that playoff run. It doesn't get remembered that way, but those guys were amazing. Those guys were taking advantage of the way people were guarding Steph, right? And the Warriors don't really have that in this scenario. So I understand it. I understand what has worked, right? I understand what they're trying to do, but take a look around and Steph needs to realize that's not gonna do it. Maybe, people will get hot and they win game 7, but the way they're doing it is not gonna work. The only time we've seen something different in this series was game 3, the game in which Jimmy Butler did not play. And I'm not trying to blame Jimmy Butler, but that was Steph Curry saying, you know what? I'm dictating this offense, right? I'm not conceding. I'm going to attack, and then we're going to make a play off that. And there's a difference, right? There's a difference when you're getting the ball because your guy created an advantage, or when you're getting the ball because your guy can't create an advantage or won't, can't or won't. there's a lot less weight on those shots when you know, oh, they can't guard our guy. They can't guard our guy, right? Anthony Edwards is cooking. I got a wide open shot in the corner, Nas Reed, because they can't guard Ant. We feel good. As opposed to the Warriors where, yeah, Quentin Post, yeah, Moses Moody, yeah, Podge, you got a wide open shot in the corner, kinda, right? But it's not because, oh, they can't stop Steph. It's because the Warriors are conceding and giving the Rockets exactly what they want. Again, I know an open shot is an open shot, but you guys understand the difference. Where guys like Nas Reed and Jaden McDaniels, better players too than the Warriors have, by the way, I'm not ignoring that, right? I'm not ignoring that. Even if you look at the Knicks, where Mikal Bridges, OG, better players than the Warriors have. I don't think this Warriors team is some juggernaut, right? But those guys are getting the ball in these situations because there is nothing the Pistons could do to contain Jalen Brunson, because there is nothing the Lakers could do to contain Anthony Edwards. While Steph Curry is just taking himself out of the play. It's not the same. The only time it was like that for the Warriors was Game 3. That is the only time I felt like Steph Curry has controlled the game, has got to the spots he wanted to get to, did not concede the double, fought through the double, made sure that he was the actual one making the decisions, not putting the ball in Moses Moody's hands to make decisions. And shout out to Moody, who was good in Game 6, by the way, not trying to pick on him. I just remember a couple plays where Moody's sitting there with the ball, nothing's happening, they're waiting for Steph off ball, he's not getting open off ball, so I guess Moses Moody has to take Dylan Brooks one-on-one. That's the advantage you created, right? And the guy you do have that could potentially do that, right, that could potentially get to the rim with a quick first step is on the bench because he makes too many mistakes, because you're this smart team, you're this veteran poised team. Even though Draymond Green gets a flagrant in the first quarter and Steph Curry has 4 turnovers in the first half, because you are this smart, high IQ team. But Kuminga's too dumb to play, and he could never do a better job guarding Fred VanVleet than GP2's doing, right? He could never leave a shooter open the first play of the fourth quarter and foul him like GP2's doing, right? You need veteran leadership out. You need poise out there. Just high IQ plays, right? The Warriors. Anyways, I know a lot of people are going to disagree with what I'm saying, but the only way the Warriors offense breaks open is if Steph Curry makes it happen. It's not going to break open by Steph Curry continuously taking himself out of place. To me, it's actually pretty similar to the Lakers scenario where Minnesota was just a much better team. I do think the Warriors in Houston are more evenly matched than that. But in that series, to me, everyone talked about the big man, obviously Rudy Gobert dominated that last game. I think the Lakers really missed the big man more on offense. They didn't have easy buckets at the rim, and that's what the problem with the Warriors right now. Also in that series with the Lakers, LeBron James couldn't score in the half court. Steph Curry is not scoring right now in the half court, or not creating one-on-one in the half court in ways that he needs to. I know it's not the same, and Steph Curry is making a bunch of step back threes, all that, but he's not consistently being able to get looks in the half court. Now, whether he can't or won't is a different question. We don't really know. But we could talk about everything else. We could talk about the roster. We could talk about the missed shots, the lack of a center, all that. Bottom line is Steph Curry has not played well these last 3 games. Whatever reasons you want to put out there, he has to be better, and that's the only way they're winning a Game 7 on the road. Steph Curry has to go win them the game, not, again, take himself out of the play and feel like you created something when no, you didn't. You created Jimmy Butler versus Steven Adams at the rim. That's not a win. You watch Steph Curry and it's like he's waiting for a mistake to be made, right? He's waiting for that offensive rebound kick out. He's waiting for that loose ball. Okay, I'm gonna relocate. He's waiting for those moments, right? This is where I'm gonna make my imprint on the game. No, you gotta go take the game. You can't wait for the game to happen. You get me? Like, anyways. I know I'm gonna get a bunch of dislikes on this video. It is what it is. It is what it is. I feel like I'm being pretty fair here. But let me know what you guys think in the comments down below. Please like, comment, subscribe. It will mean the world to me. Thank you guys so much for watching. I'm out. Peace.